Hello dear friends, welcome to Shiksha Mantra. When you have reached this discussion, probably you have stumbled upon the title and the thumbnail that's there in my YouTube channel. And what does the title say? The title says, don't start learning English grammar, particularly tense, before you watch this video. That means we are going to discuss something very special here, something that you must learn before you start your learning of tense. So what's that? What we are saying this? And to know this, you must watch this video till the end and you will get the point we want to discuss here. So let's begin our discussion of the day as soon as possible. So what's the thing that we want to discuss here? You know, when we talk of tense, it gets very similar to that of time. You know, the time of the verb is called the tense. So time and tense, they're so very fused into each other that without having a proper idea of time, it's very difficult to learn tense. So first we'll learn what is time and how it gets related to tense. Before we start, tell me one thing. Do you know what's this? Yeah, this is a ruler. With this, we can actually measure the length of things. That means with this, we always measure a straight line. Yes, dear friends, if we put the ruler here and draw a line, we'll get a straight line. So this is a straight line that we draw with this ruler, but how it gets related to our learning of tense? This is the very important question that you will ask me next. Sir, why are you shifting to a straight line to teach us tense? The question is obvious, but the answer is more obvious. How it goes? First tell me, how will you represent time geometrically? So what will be the geometric representation of time? The geometric representation of a time will be like a ray, like this. It's a straight line which has something after it, something before it. So this is how we represent time. Now how it gets related to the time of the verb or the tense that we will learn? It's very simple. What is a time? Actually, when you talk of time, you get this only. This is the time. Nothing else. Only a dot. I don't know whether you can see it or not. Let me make a circle, and within the circle we have this dot, and the dot is called time. Why? Because it has another name, that is now. Right at the moment. Why now is so important? Now is so very important because this is the time when you have some control over it. Every moment, the moment we are talking of, the moment we are in, this time, this moment, now we have some power to control, and when it passes, you just can't do anything. So this now is the time we will do with in our tense. But why now is so very important? It's because you produce the sentence now. When I'm producing the sentence, it's now. So now this is actually the scale with which we will measure time. And by measuring time with this scale, we will decide whether we'll go for this moment or some past moment or some moment that's coming. And these are the 3 times we learn in tenses. Remember, dear friends, whenever you are given a sentence and asked which tense is there, you say either it's present tense, it's past tense, or in future tense. But believe me, there's no such tense that we call present tense or past tense or future tense. They are but time. So what is tense? The tense is something else. We'll discuss it later. But remember, these 3 are time: present time, past time, future time. Now how do we measure it? To measure it, we need this scale. We'll start it once again. But before starting this, I'll ask you one question. First, look, if you know this or if you have forgotten, because you have learned it when you were children. In your primary classes, you have learned this. What's that? In your primary classes, you get a straight line and then it's being divided into several equal parts. And there it's written as 1, 2, 4, 6. And you are asked to put the numbers. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you tell me what's this? This is the number line. Yes, dear friends, your life is also like a number line. You are living on a number line. You are walking on a number line. Here it begins and it ends to some point. So consider your time as a number line, just as a scale we are measuring with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there you have to put the concept of now. How? When you utter something, when you produce a sentence, what's get related to the time of the verb or the time of the action? It's the time that you produce the sentence. How it is? It's very important. If you don't understand this, you can't detect tense. You would learn many rules regarding where we'll use simple present, where we'll use present progressive, present continuous, perfect continuous, so many things, so many rules, but they won't come to your help if you don't know this. So we focus the action, the time of the action. How? If I write down I go and I went, you will say the action or the verb in the first sentence, this is in simple present and this is in simple past. But how? How we will detect the action of the verb? Remember, dear friends, time is something that needs to be compared with. You have to compare time. Without comparing it, you can't come to a decision. You can't say whether it's present or past or future without comparing it. So comparing with what? Comparing with now, when the sentence is produced. If you produce the sentence and call it now, there will be an answer for everything. Suppose you are producing the sentence here. This is the now. This is the dot or the now. Where? On 4. Now, if the verb, that means the action, falls on this point, you will say it's present. If the verb falls quite before this point, suppose on the 1, this position, So you'll say I went. And if it happens that this action comes in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on, and if it's known to you, you'll say it's in simple present because there's a chance of repetition. But how do we detect whether the action go is in present or in past? Sometimes we will present it as future as well. I'm coming to that point. But the main aspect of the tense that we have to detect, we must learn we have a particular point on which the sentence is produced and we give it a name. And the name that we use for this time, this now, is time of speaking. When the sentence is produced, that is the time of speaking. So we will obviously compare the action that is go. I'm not giving it any tense now. We have to compare the time of go, that's the action, with the time of speaking. If the time of speaking suggests that this action has not expired yet, the action is related to time of speaking, there's a relation that has been shared in between the time of speaking and the action itself, we consider that the time for the action is not expired and will produce the sentence as I go. So the time of the verb, every time in every book you will find that the time of the verb tense is fused in the time of the action, in the time of the verb. No, it's not the fact. The tense is detected by comparing the time of action with the time of speaking. This is the simple thing. If you understand this, you'll never mix up tenses. But if you don't understand this, you can't find out which one is the perfectly used tense for a sentence that you produce. Because every time I repeat this, tense is the sense of a sentence. The sense of a sentence lies in the tense we produce the sentence in. So without having the proper tense, you can't produce the proper sense. That means you fail to express yourself properly. So what you need? You need this number line. You need this number line. So when it gets related to it, suppose go is there in third, but it's connected to the time of speaking. So we consider that it's in simple present form, or it's in present time. It's better to call present time. I am to go to that simple present, present continuous, past, simple past. I will go for this. But if the same action is detected somewhere pretty back here the action is, and there's the time of action, time of speaking, and here's the time of action. So you represent TA as time of action and T as time of speaking. So if it's found that the time of speaking is suggesting, when I compare the time of action with the time of speaking, it's suggesting that the time of action is expired. It has expired. It's no more related directly to the time of speaking. So in respect of this time of speaking, we'll say that this verb has expired its time and we will produce it into past time. It will get past. We'll consider it as past time. And if it happens that in respect of the time of speaking, we are thinking that this action might happen, there's a possibility on 10. In our number line, probably it's in 10 or 9 or 8 or something after 4. It will be considered as future and the time of action will be considered as future. There's possibility, and in respect to the time of speaking, we will say that this tense is future. We'll say that this in future. So what happens in your childhood, in your primary classes, in lower classes? You have been asked to find out the predecessor and successor of a number. So what you do there, you do one thing. Either you put plus or minus. How? If you have been given a number 4 and you are asked to write down the predecessor for it, what you do? You count it on the timeline, on the number line. 4. Before 4 comes 3. So what you do? You actually do 4 minus 1. And you say that this is 3. So it's before the time of speaking. It's before the number given. And you will consider it as past. And when you have been given the blank here, you will say after, that is its successor. So what you will do? You will do 4 plus 1, that is equal to 5. So it's after the time of speaking. So what you will say? You will say it's future. And this one is present. So what finally we get from the number line, you can very easily find it out. Time of speaking, this is present. Predecessor, this is past. And successor, this is future. So finally, dear students, dear friends, dear guardians who are here watching this video, there's one point that I want to hammer you for several times so that you don't get confused to find out the tenses of a sentence. The tense lies not in the action, not in the verb, but in the time of speaking. First, you have to find out the time of speaking on the number line, and you have to detect whether the action is a predecessor number or a successor number. That means whether you have to go with minus or with plus. If it's minus, it's past. If it's on the number line, the same time of speaking, it will be present. And if it's plus, that means successor, it will be future. So that's how your time, your tense gets connected to a straight line and a number line, and this is the time of speaking, which is very much vital for your learning of tenses. And now you are ready to fly. Fly where? Fly on the sky of English language, fly on the sky of English grammar, fly in the sky of tense. If you have learned it properly, you won't find tense as difficult. Rather, you will find that tense is very easy to deal with. You'd never find any difficulty in detection of tense, and you will be a very successful person to produce your sentences properly with the intention what you actually want to express, and it will support your learning of tense from every aspect. So here our efforts come to an end. If you really want to learn so many things that we discuss here regarding English grammar and many other things, you have to stay glued to us, obviously by subscribing this channel, and don't forget to tickle that little bell icon present right before the subscribe button so that you can get every notification whenever a new discussion is placed in this channel. So we are returning very soon with a fresh discussion regarding something very interesting in English grammar. Until then, bye bye, happy learning.